Hi guys, Dr. Berg here. In this video, I want to talk about an interesting vitamin B1 and its deficiencies. This is very common and it's quite interesting because it's actually a helper factor or a helper vitamin in three main enzymes that have to do with carbohydrates. Now, when someone switches over to a ketogenic diet, the whole mechanism of burning fat in the mitochondria, it needs a lot of B1. So you also need B1 in fat metabolism as well. So here are the symptoms. Number one, nervous energy, like this buildup of nervous energy, like you're gonna explode or you're just very restless. You can't relax, okay? That's number one. Number two, edema or swelling in your calf. When you have enough B1, you don't accumulate fluid, okay? B1 also is connected to the heart as well. Numbness, tingling in the hands or feet. That relates to diabetes simply because B1 is involved in the production of myelin, the surrounding covering of the nerves. So when you don't have B1 because you had too much sugar, it strips off that and you start having neurological problems. Okay, number four, increased heart rate. Now, potassium also keeps the heart in check, but also B1 does as well. Probably because of the electrical connection to the heart. Number five, restless legs. Now you're trying to sleep and you're pounding your legs. I had this problem for years. I would literally get up in the middle of the night and pound my legs and go exercise to try to get this energy out because it was driving me nuts. So what's happening is you have this retention of lactic acid. Like after a workout, you're going to have this lactic acid and it's going to actually keep the energy into the lower part of the legs. That's a B1 deficiency. B1 helps release that lactic acid. It can also improve recovery time after exercise. Next one, seasickness or car sickness. If you have that, take more B1. That will help you. Nightmares. If you have nightmares or vivid dreams or your kids have nightmares, give them vitamin B1. That is the solution. Air hunger. So let's say you're can't get enough air. Now, it could be that your pH is too acid, or like in lactic acidosis or high lactic acid, or it could be that you're just B1 deficient, okay? So another remedy for that. So now, what causes B1 deficiencies? Number one, sugar, okay? Hidden sugars, refined grains, hidden sugars like juice, things like that. Alcohol will do it. Liver damage like cirrhosis or a fatty liver, because you need the liver to metabolize a lot of these B vitamins. Stress will deplete B1. Caffeine will do it. That would be like in tea as well, too much of it. Birth control pills, antacids. Okay, so what is the solution? Number one, cut the sugar out, the grains, the alcohol, stress, right? Cut down the caffeine. And add nutritional yeast to the diet. Make sure that's unfortified nutritional yeast because they put synthetic vitamins in there. I don't recommend taking synthetic vitamins unless you're doing a detox, but as a maintenance, get the natural ones or concentrated nutritional yeast. Thanks for watching. I want to talk about two conditions and help you differentiate those two conditions: restless leg syndrome and nocturnal leg jerks. Okay, those are two separate conditions. Let's talk about each one. First, let's talk about nocturnal leg jerks. Okay, nocturnal meaning at night, okay, where your legs are kind of jumping every so often. They also call that hypnic jerk or myoclonic jerk. And this can resemble like if someone startles you and you kind of jump, or when you're dreaming that you're falling and then you kind of have this jerk. I mean, recently I had a dream that someone is throwing me a football, and I caught it, and so my wife was already up, and I just kind of like just jumped up and I caught the football in my dreams. Okay, so with nocturnal leg jerks, you're going to sometimes get an increased heart rate, you're going to get increased breathing, and you're usually going to wake up. This usually is a magnesium deficiency, so if you have this, start taking magnesium, okay, and also start increasing leafy greens because that's the best source of magnesium. Have more salads, things like that. There's also something called the periodic limb movement disorder, okay, that's a little bit different. And in this condition, it's usually something going on with the brain that's not quite right, some dysfunctional brain disorder, where you're having a deficiency of dopamine. And so it's treated with dopamine agents, okay? And just so you know, this usually is also associated with low iron. And iron has the capacity to increase dopamine too. So with this condition, you might want to just increase your iron. You can do this very easily by consuming red meat, something like that. That's a better source of iron than from spinach. And it's worsened by taking antidepressants, going through stress, lack of sleep, caffeine, alcohol. But you may also need magnesium for this as well. But definitely don't forget iron. Now let's switch gears to something called restless leg syndrome. This is a situation where you have too much lactic acid built up. It's called lactic acidosis, where your pH is becoming more acidic. Okay, so it's going down. Going down is more acid, going up is more alkaline. When the body is more acidic from this lactic acid, your muscles are going to be very restless. Okay, you're not going to be able to relax. In fact, I had this condition. In the middle of the night, I remember pounding my legs because they were so restless. I felt like I needed to go on a jog, but it never helped. Little did I know it was my high-carb diet depleting the B1, because the remedy for this is vitamin B1. I would recommend taking nutritional yeast, but then ultimately correcting it, you would have to get on a low-carb diet. It's called keto. If you're new to my channel, check down below. And this is why the people that are at risk for this condition is diabetics, because they have higher level of glucose flowing through their bloodstream, as well as people that have peripheral neuropathies, which are usually diabetics. So anyway, if you have restless leg syndrome, B1 is the answer. For nocturnal leg jerks, that's magnesium. And for periodic limb movement problems, try iron. Hey guys, in this video I want to talk about the difference between nutritional yeast and brewer's yeast. I had a couple questions. Typically they're both very similar. They both are loaded with the B vitamins, natural, amino acids. I mean, it's a great source of protein. Trace minerals, selenium, chromium, great for the pancreas, good for blood sugars. Both come from the same family of yeast, but different strains. And by the way, the yeast is inactive, it's not active, they can't reproduce. Now, the difference between taste would be nutritional would be more of a nutty or cheesy flavor, and brewer's yeast is very bitter unless you get it debitterized. I think that's a word. Now, which one do I consume? Typically, I will do the nutritional yeast unless you want to make some cookies. Okay, there's a type of cookie called lactation cookie. Not that you would use it to increase lactation, but you might. But it's also just good generally for your overall health. So I'm going to be making a recipe very soon. You'll see that on demonstrating those cookies. So you can make those out of brewer's yeast, and heard they're quite good. So the thing about brewer's yeast is it's usually a byproduct of making beer. But typically, if you buy it off Amazon or the health food store, it's not a byproduct. It's a direct product that's more of a nutritional product. Some people have some digestive issues more with brewer's yeast. It's very few, but that can happen. So it's up to you. You can go either way. But make sure if you do either form of yeast, you get non-GMO, because nowadays they make this off of beet sugar, which is GMO. So we want it non-GMO. We also do not want it enriched with synthetic B vitamins. So get the one that's non-enriched. And if it says it has B12, we know it's synthetic, because these yeasts do not make vitamin B12, unfortunately. So it's not going to be a good source of B12. But overall, it's pretty good. Nutritional yeast, one good indication that you need it is that you're lacking B vitamins, that you're having these vivid dreams, or you're having a lot of nervous stress. But definitely the dreams are very good indicator that you need more B vitamins, so I would take like a teaspoon. Thanks for watching.